This video is for your linear regression notes, and so I'm going to show you how to use two ordered pairs and to get the slope and the y-intercept so that you can write an equation in slope-intercept form. So the steps to do this are listed at the top of the page. So you're going to go to Stat. So Stat key is this one right here, Stat, and then Enter for Edit. And then you're going to come up with lists. So you have list 1 and list 2. These are the two lists that we're going to be using. So your x values go into list 1 column and your y values go into list 2 column. So to find the linear regression, after you've typed values in here, you're going to go back to Stat. You're going to use the right arrow key to go to Calc, and then you're going to hit 4 for linear regression, and then you're going to go down to Calculate. And if you have digits in there, it will give you the slope and the y-intercept. So in your calculator, though, things are a little bit different. We're used to slope using the letter M, and for y-intercept using the letter B. In your calculator, it does it a little bit different. So you can see here where it says linear regression, it says AX plus B. So in your calculator, the slope is going to be A, the y-intercept is still going to be B, and so the equation will be in the form y equals ax plus b. A is just the slope. So now we can practice. So again, in your calculator, you're going to go to Stat and Enter. In list 1, you're going to put the number on the left-hand side of the ordered pairs. So what this needs to look like when you type your values in, it needs to look just like your ordered pair, 1, 1. And so our other one is 4, 3. So the 4, or your x, would go in list 1, and your 3 would go in list 2. So x is in list 1, y is in list 2, or the value on the left-hand side in list 1, the value on the right-hand side in list 2. So once you get your values in, you go to Stat, over to Calc, 4 for linear regression, and then down to Calculate. And so you can see here that it has given me repeating decimals. So 0.6 repeating and 0.3 repeating. And the previous video showed you how to convert those to a fraction. So the slope here would be 0.6 or 2/3. The y-intercept would be 0.3 or 1/3. And so your equation would be y equals 2/3 x plus 1/3. So to show you again the comparison here, 0.6 repeating, that's my slope, that's my A. 0.3 repeating, that's my B, that's my y-intercept. And then I plug into y equals AX plus B. So you just plug these values into the equation. The quickest way to start over is to do second plus 712 and to clear your calculator. So Stat, Enter. So now we have -2, 4 and 10, -2. So the -2 goes into list 1 and the 4 would go into list 2. Again, this should look just like your ordered pair. -2, 4, -2, 4. In list 1, the 10 would go in list 1 and -2 in list 2. All right, so once you have your values in, Stat, Calc, 4, and Calculate. So this time my A, or my slope, I got a -0.5. Again, you can turn this into a fraction using the keystrokes from the previous video. And the y-intercept, the B, is 3. So the slope is -0.5 or a -0.5. The y-intercept is a 3. So the equation is y equals -1/2 x plus 3. So again, slope and y-intercept. All right, number 3. So Stat, Enter. So -4. Oh, go back here. So -4, and make sure you're using the negative sign and not the subtraction sign. So -4 is my first x, -8 is my second x. Nope, still didn't take it. And then list 2 would be my y, so 5. And so the 5 has got to be paired up with the -4. You cannot flip-flop the x's and the y's. And so with -8, its y is a -5. Once you put the values in, stat, calc, 4, and down to calculate. So now I've got 2.5 for my slope and 15 for my y-intercept. So the slope is 2.5 or 5 over 2, 5/2. The y-intercept is 15. So your equation would be y equals 5/2 x plus 15. All right, 4 is going to be the last one we do. You don't have to worry about 5 or 6. So number 4, stat, enter. All right, so 10 and 0. So 10 goes into list 1, 0 goes into list 2, and then -2, 4. So -2 goes into list 1, and 4 goes into list 2. So stat, calc, 4, and then down to calculate. Here we get those repeating decimals again. So again, if you need a reminder, the keystrokes, use the previous video. So my slope, my A, is -0.3 repeating, and my y-intercept is B, or 3.3 repeating. So let's go ahead, let's do the keystrokes one more time for converting a repeating decimal. So -0.3 repeating, in your calculator, you're going to type -0.3, and you want 3's to go all the way to the end of your screen. Alpha, y equals 4, and we get a -3rd. So that is our slope. -0.3 repeating is -3rd. For the y-intercept, we got 3.3 repeating. So I would type in 3.3, and that 3 is going to repeat. So alpha, y equals 4. And so 10/3 would be 3.3 repeating as a fraction. So that's my slope and my y-intercept. So the equation would be y equals -1/3 x plus 10/3. And so the other thing to remember is invisible math. So for invisible math, if your a value equals 1, your equation is just going to be y equals x. Okay? And so if a equals a -1, your equation will be y equals -x. So keep that in mind. If your slope is 1, you're not going to put that 1 in front of the x. You're just going to write x. If your slope is a -1, you're going to put a -x, not a -1x.